Hello everybody! Welcome to a brand new video, which is the 1,500 subscriber special, and I would never be late to it, me. Anyways, let's just speed run through the few things that we've got to say before this video starts. First off, this background footage is owned by Omniscient Cartoons, and thank you so much to Joel Joseph 146 for the Rosa scene pack that will be used later in this video. At the moment of this recording, the Season 3, Episode 4 of All Stars has been released. And I'll things before, you know what I mean. But if Rosa Maria appears in any future seasons or any future time frames or anything like that, that is the reason it is not here, because it wasn't released yet. And probably I will update in the comments if she ever appears again, unless she gets like a major role, you know what I mean. So there is spoilers for Disventure Camp All Stars and Disventure Camp Season 2. I really hope you've watched both of those seasons before watching this video, so you're not spoiled if you don't want them. But anyways, there are some critiques in this video, and again, this is no hate to Omniscient Cartoons. They have created a wonderful series in Disventure Camp, and I am so excited to see what the future holds for the series and all future episodes. Again, but I am doing some critiques on Rosa Maria as a character later on in this video. When I do videos like this, I do sections to make it really more organized and just make it easier for my brain to work all this out. The first section that we're going to be doing is the episode-by-episode analysis. When I do the episode-by-episode analysis, I am going episode by episode and analyzing how Rosa Maria is used as a character in there, just talk about how she develops, and basically we're going to see how she grows, quote-unquote, throughout the season itself. Season 3, Episode 1, her cameo there is going to be in the bonus and background analysis, which is shockingly the next section that I will be covering in this video. That section specifically will be going over more of her background and backstory, which is very tragic, and it's just poor Rosa Maria is all I'm gonna say before we continue. And then the bonus, which will also be going over like any bonus cameos, some other things I might have missed, and things that are just not in the series itself but are confirmed to be canon. And then the next section will be character critiques and basic thoughts, basically where I give my critiques on Rosa Maria as a character and also give my thoughts on Rosa Maria as a character as well. And then we reach the conclusion of the video. Alright, so let's just get right into this, starting off with the first section.
Wow, with such amazing powers, you must be just as amazing!
Episode 1. The first scene where we get to meet Rosa Maria is where she talks with Kai, where we learn that she likes astrology, is a Libra, which I know basically nothing on astrology at all, so I don't really know how much that means, but cool, I guess. We also learned that her name is Rosa Maria. She gets onto the orange team, and she goes to eat dinner with Lake, and turns out Rosa is also a fan of dark humor, because when Nina says, "This might be your last," and she just laughs and laughs. Just found that interesting. And also, we should have known that she should have been a support character from the beginning, because she states it literally herself in this episode, in one of the lines where she's talking with Lake, yeah. Also, I think she has gained teleportation powers, because once Maggie, Lake, and her are on the boat and doing the challenge together, when Maggie looks sad, she freaking teleports over to her on the boat. I don't know. I just think that's somewhat impressive. Anyway, we learned also that she is a teen mother at 16, that she had her child. We also learned that the child's name is Sophia, and that her parents did not take this idea well. Otherwise, we did not really see her throughout the rest of the episode. Honestly, episode 1-wise, this was a pretty good start for Rosa's character. First off, you learn a bit about her. You get some extra facts like her interest in astrology. You learn her basic personality traits, as it's shown to be she's kind, sweet, and supportive. With how she treated Maggie, it was like, yeah, we can be your friend and all that. It's all a just great and incredible start for Rosa as a character. We also learn a bit, again, about her, which is great to see. Anyways, episode 2. So episode 2 is more astrology mentioning, with her continuing mentioning her interest in astrology, and her furthering her friendships with Maggie and Lake, and is just growing and it's just becoming wholesome. Rosa Maria, I think, is the epitome of wholesomeness, like in Disventure Camp. If I had to choose one character that I would call just wholesome, this would be Rosa, and it's just so sweet. Anyways, as well, later on the episode, she suggests a vote to gather an alliance, proving that she knows how to make alliances and proving that she is smart. Yes, thank you. She also had a decent hand in the vote herself, suggesting either Carol or James, and again, no matter who they choose, they would have like a 3, and then James basically made that decision for them, though, when he's like, Carol's gonna betray you guys. I don't know why they wouldn't target James after that, though, because, like, he's a slimy I don't know. I get Carol's targeting some. I don't know. Anyway, she basically isn't in this episode otherwise, though, which is fine given her somewhat big focus I would consider in episode 1, but none of these scenes really further her character unless you count the alliance creation, which again shows her sense as character. This isn't really much of a critique, it's just an observation more so. It's fine. Again, it's only the second episode. I'm not expecting her to have the biggest character development. Anyways, episode 3. This episode begins the #Slave Lake plan. That is what I'm calling this because I can. Anyway, furthering her also knowing like when not to say something. She knows what to say at the right times. You know what I mean? Usually anyway. Like, she knows not to ask directly to Lake what's going on because I'm guessing she thinks it won't. It didn't really work originally, so anyway. Also, she said she'd adopt Lake in this episode too. Has that happened yet? Because again, Lake is with Rosa at the end, so did she adopt? That is my question. Anyways, as well, we get to see more of her caring side. She wants to make sure it isn't awkward at camp since she kissed Kai, who Maggie has a crush on. I think they're canon now. I'm pretty sure. We also get to see more of her encouragement towards others when she encourages Aiden to kiss James so they don't have to lose the challenge. We also see more of her protective side this episode, as she is very protective of Maggie and is willing to go beat up Yule due to what he said about Maggie, but she's also seen to listen to reasoning, and she will listen to others because she listened to Lake after she's like, violence is not the answer, Rosa. Do not do something you'll regret, or something like that. And this episode is also great, again, to see her protective side somewhat, but I find it interesting that they set up, like, it might be awkward between Rosa and Maggie, and then it's just never awkward. I guess a nice subversion of expectations. I don't know, again. I just find some of these observations just very interesting. Maybe if they actually decided to go for that, it would have given Maggie more something to do in episode 4 rather than punch Yule, and just give her the focus in her elimination episode that she really does deserve. Anyway, episode 4. We get to see that she does not fear confrontation further, as she's willing to confront Lake about her home situation, but she also is shown to care again in her missing the orange team at the end in the confessional, because remember, she gets swapped in episode 4 to go into the green team and she misses her friends. We learn more this episode than pretty much any other time about Rosa. Anyway, facts like she was willing to shoplift for her daughter, showing how much her caring really does go and showing how caring of an individual she is. We need to count how many times I say caring in this video eventually. Anyway, Sophia's father is also not known. Again, Sophia is her daughter. Anyway, Rosa Maria did consider abortion originally. A lot of this added some depth to Rosa or some of the facts that we could have been used for a future arc or something along that line, but I guess not. Still, it's cool to learn, again, a lot more about her. This episode's challenge really helped us learn more about the contestants, which I really do appreciate. Anyway, this episode-wise, I think was actually one of the best we saw for Rosa. Not only did it allow to show her caring side, but furthers her past, which again, her past is one of the most interesting, I think, in the entire series, but also it made her more sympathetic, and she's just really well handled here. In episode 5, this specific episode for Rosa interests me because the main scene she has is talking with Rhea, but then in the confessional after, she's like, I'll support her lots like I should have done with Lake. Now, this feels like, to me, this might be a weird theory to give in, but was she also lonely during this time? It just adds more to her tragedy, but it feels like that to me feels like that she hasn't really had much friends before. She's trying her best. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this just confessional, but anyway. Challenge-wise, it's the usual for Rosa: supportive, nice, willing to do the challenge, yada yada yada, and she also makes up with Lake, which was just so wholesome and sweet to watch. Not much to note. Anyway, this episode, she's Rosa, and the only thing that really interests me is the confessional specifically. Otherwise, again, wholesome reunion. Anyway, episode 6. Rosa is just wholesome. Like, that reaction to seeing Lake when she was still in game. Like, she was just like, oh my gosh, Lake, you're still in here. It was just wholesome. Anyway, also, again, more caring Rosa. She says that Rhea will beat them all up in the finale when she's referring to them on the final 3. Well, that did not age well. Anyway, then they party at the end of the episode, and that's pretty much all Rosa does this episode, which, that's fine. It's fine. Episode 7-wise, Rosa, again, is just supporting everybody, where she helps Rhea get her perfume back, along with Lake, is happy that Lake is happy. She's, again, just wholesome, and despite everything she's been through, she is just the sweetest, and I gotta respect it. She does the challenge and helps the alliance. Again, she doesn't really do much this episode either. That's fine. Anyway, episode 8, she goes mostly into her focus and quote unquote. Anyway, Rosa found the idol, which I don't know how she even found it, considering literally they were looking right next to each other. It's even pointed out in the series. How did Rhea not notice? How did no one, whatever. Also, Rosa is shown to be cautious this episode and actually wanting to see reason when she's like, wait, this might actually be real, and actually going to check. They're not just like, yep, it's totally fake completely, even after that announcement. They actually go check. Anyway, also, Rosa immediately thought it was Nina and did not blame Marcus, meaning she knows too much. She knows Nina is a real, living, breathing puppet. Anyway, she knows. We also learned that she knows how to start a car or a bus without keys. How do you even learn that? That's just my question. And also, does this mean that she stole a car once? I don't know, but that feels like the only way she would know this. I don't know. We also learned that her neighborhood where she lives is dangerous, scary, and horrid. Anyway, she just then has such a wholesome goodbye with Lake. It's just so sweet. Her and Lake's dynamic is just, it's so sweet. Anyway, this episode really helped us learn about Rosa more, which I do appreciate. It's really interesting to see that as each episode passes, like once in a blue moon, you learn random facts. There's just nothing for a few episodes when it comes to Rosa, which I find interesting. Anyway, episode 9. The only character who didn't get derailed in episode 9, Rosa Maria. This is the true achievement has been unlocked. We need to give her a medal for this. Give her medal. Anyway, Rosa's never seen snow before, which Mexico does get snow. I think it does. I could be wrong here, but so whatever. Anyway, she misses Lake, has a wholesome, and then she just makes a wholesome sled because she just does it inspired by Sophia, which oh my gosh. Rosa and Rhea then partner up during the challenge. Rosa does great in the challenges, basically winning the first and second. We gotta remember, Hunter's plot armor's gotta come in. Hunter's plot armor came so late, and my personal theory to how she lost the final challenge, I know her sled was kind of unsteady, but no, I don't think that's the real reason. What I think truly happened is that Hunter's plot armor was coming in late, and once it just came in full swing at the end, defeating the one person who defeated him in this challenge, which was Rosa Maria. Anyway, she was cool this episode. Episode 10. For one episode, Rosa gets the right to be a protagonist. She gets that right now. She's even on the thumbnail. Yes. Anyway, she invites Aiden and James to breakfast. Rosa just goes to give some advice to Hunter. She must offer her wisdom to everybody. Why is that Miriam vibes to me now? Rosa and Miriam would be great friends. Okay, we're going off track. Also, we were robbed of more Rosa and Aiden interactions because Rosa's just like, remember, your house is my house, do not forget. It's just wholesome. Anyway, Rosa feels bad for Hunter, so she exposes the alliance to Hunter. Rosa, it's really sweet and wholesome, and it's just nice that she's caring for Hunter, even though she really just never got to know him. But there is a million, still, just let her be. Anyway, people get mad at Rosa for being honest, namely Aiden, James. Does Rhea care? I don't think she really does. Anyway, the Hunter and Rosa friendship is just sweet. Rosa also doesn't want to join the hunt for Hunter. Then James just robs Rosa from her rightful win of the challenge, or maybe that was, whatever, you get my point. With Rosa rightfully getting mad after being accused, and then Rosa is shocked seeing her being framed, has a conversation with Hunter where she's like, I'll be safe, don't worry. That did not age well either. Just before leaving, we just gotta mention this. The game changed you, Rhea. You may win the million, but you will be alone again. Mic drop. Just the fact that Rosa, the character you thought would go each episode, to me anyway. Like, when I was watching this live, I thought she was going to go each episode. But seeing Rosa just get out in such a heartbreaking fashion, that hurt me. Because it's Rosa! Even if she isn't the most interesting character at points, it's Rosa. Anyway, episode 11. She did not appear, she was mentioned. But since she did not appear in this episode specifically, I'm just going to skip it. But yeah, anyway, episode 12. Rosa helps out James just despite everything that it's been through, because she's just the sweetest. Like, she's actually still wanting to help James, just shows how just nice she is. Anyway, otherwise she tries her best to help out James, and they even begin bonding, because it's just, the James and Rosa friendship, it's also underrated. All of these friendships are underrated. And then episode 13, she's just adoring Jaden, sort of, I don't know. I mean, what else can you call that? And then she goes, and she's just incredible this episode. I cannot believe different, because then she's like, I cannot believe I'm doing this, and this might be going a little out of order, but she helps out James just confess, like, what he's been through, but more backstory, and then that's just sweet. And then Rosa's like, helps out Rhea after all the crap she's done, and she wants to show a good example to her daughter. It's just, and the fact she even gets some of the money in the end by James, and then she's just so grateful for it too. It's just, she deserved it. Anyways, that is the end of Rosa this season in summary, which, again, she is the sweetest, most wholesome, but now we're going to go into the bonus and background analysis.
Wow, with such amazing powers, you must be just as amazing.
We're just going to be beginning with the bonuses. So the bonus is just going to basically cover what is confirmed outside the show, and is also going to talk about the season 3 cameo she got. So first off, some things that were confirmed outside the show and not stated directly, I believe. So she first off is Mexican. We also know that she is 19. That, I think it was also confirmed with the fact that she was Mexican, and I think she's 20 now in All-Stars timeline, I think. Could be wrong. But anyways, the season 3, the cameo that she gets to have is with Sophia with her, and Sophia is just adorable. Like, wholesome. These two are just wholesome. Anyway, it has been confirmed that in canon, Rosa actually did get an invite to Disventure Camp All-Stars. However, she refused due to the fact that she wanted to spend time with Sophia, and also, why would she come back? James gave her the money she needed. I don't know how much he gave, but he probably gave her a decent amount. I'm doubting he cheapskated her, which basically is also confirmed in this cameo too. Not the money, but also her refusing to go because of her daughter, because Lake literally says, I wish you were coming, but she said, I can't leave Sophia again. What more proof? Anyway, also, Rosa's last wish for Lake to kick Yule is just, wow. The hatred for Yule never ends, it seems. And for fair reason. Anyway, so now the background analysis. First off, we have to back up the timeline a bit. Your viewers might not know this. Alright, so originally Disventure Camp was going to be cancelled by Fresh TV. When this happened, the idea was to switch Disventure Camp to comics, specifically on Webtoon. If you want more information completely on the situation, I think Silly Billy has a video on it. You can go check that out. But anyways, let's just continue. So anyway, since Disventure Camp is still running, they actually used Webtoon to post some bonus comics from season 2. One of these bonus comics was on Rosa Maria, and that gives us more backstory than anything else we've ever seen. In any case, I'll leave the comic in the description, and also Silly Billy's video on the situation in case you want to know more about that. But to summarize this comic, Rosa called her ex-boyfriend, where it was further revealed that she still doesn't know who the father was. The confrontation with her parents happens, where they won't support her, and she's shown to be looking for jobs. A horoscope came up within the job listings, giving her hope when nothing else could, explaining why she believes in horoscopes and has an interest in it a lot. As in the episode analysis, we know that she grew up in a rough area, having a rough childhood, partially likely, because in the comic, if you go to check that out, you see that Rosa's parents are very, very stern, so it's possible, and maybe she even sees some of herself in Lake. I don't know. Anyway, we skip to the future now, where the comic takes place, where she's again calling her ex, and others likely trying to find the father, but cannot. Then her parents tell her they won't support her. She sees the horoscopes and again gets hope. It isn't that easy though. Over the pregnancy, she's considered abortion, and though she tried to work the job, she found it wasn't enough. So she shoplifted for her daughter, and though she does not feel proud of it, she knew she had to do that. She strongly struggled through all of this, and honestly, that was my analysis ever rewatching all the Rosa Maria scenes, taking the comics. That's what I personally analyzed. Again, it might be different for you, but honestly, I do, again, think this is one of the most tragic backgrounds in all Disventure Camp. It all just did not work out for Rosa easily, but this does make me wonder, how did Rosa just become as perfect and sweet as she is in Disventure Camp Season 2? Like, again, as sweet and wholesome and kind as she is, she doesn't really have any flaws. I'll go into this more later, but throughout the backstory, you can see the flaws, you can see that struggle, and in making her such an interesting character, seeing the conflict, it just makes me curious how because all this happened in 3 to 4 years' time. It's just very interesting to look back onto. Anyway, onto the character cheeks and my basic thoughts on Rosa.
Wow, with such amazing powers, you must be just as amazing.
So basic thoughts on Rosa as a character. I do think Rosa's cool, and I do like her, don't get me wrong at all. I love how wholesome she is, and I love how sweet she is. Now, but I feel like an issue with her character, in my opinion. She's completely perfect, and that, to me, doesn't make her as interesting. Now, her backstory is very interesting, I'm not saying it's not, but if you try to give me one flaw from Rosa Maria from Disventure Camp Season 2, if you just ignore her backstory. I can hear the silence real quick. Additionally, she lasted 10 episodes by basically doing nothing. Again, was a great side character, but that's all she was, and especially given her background and the overall potential that she serves, using that to develop some of her flaws may have helped her character a bit and made her more interesting, because the one critique I see for Rosa, or the two, is that again, she has no flaws, and again, she didn't really do much rather than be a support character. People thought that she was leaving every episode for a reason. At least what I was seeing. At least that's what I was seeing. Maybe I was on the wrong side of YouTube at that point. Anyway, and her backstory, again, is one of the most tragic, and you can use that to develop her background while she's being that side character. You can also work this into making her like a predictable winner, kind of like Lake. Just give her this huge arc, making her likable, making even more subversive things of expectations when she's eliminating, and making it even more heartbreaking when she is. And also, learning more about Rosa would help her character. I had to go find this comic to really just start to really understand Rosa more as a character, but I don't know. But anyway, we know some things about Rosa, but they aren't really just focused on. They're just there. They're just mentioned. Episode 4, it was just mentioned because it was a challenge, as cool as it was to see that. Episode 8, it was just mentioned because, well, in their minds, they were about to die. And using the facts given, you can build upon her character. These are just critiques, though, if you want to keep her in for all 10 episodes. But why just keep her in for all 10 episodes? You can also shorten her time in the competition if you want, having Rhea betray Lake instead, allowing Lake to make it even further and have more development. Like, basically make Rhea betray Lake, like, Rosa gets out, gives Lake the totem, making Rhea feel like that she was right in her, like, thinking, yeah, I should have not trusted Rosa, or something like that, and that allows Lake to make it even further in the game, go to episode 10, and have more development, plus it would serve for a Disventure Camp All-Stars enemy type interaction you could use to give Lake story for the first few episodes, because if she's gonna leave early anyway, just give her something to do during that time, and I think it would be cool to see Rhea and Lake have that rivalry. And that again, these are just my personal storyline ideas. Overall, again, I do think Rosa's a cool character, I do like her, but again, she's not the best thing ever. Rosa stans, please do not attack. This is just my personal opinion, please. Thank you. And again, these are just my personal critiques. If they aren't the same with you, that's completely fine. Anyways, let us move on to the conclusion of the video.
Wow, with such amazing powers, you must be just as amazing.
So in summary, Rosa is the sweetest, and she is just wholesome, has underrated friendships, and overall, it could have been a bit more interesting depending. And also, that webtoon comic is my favorite Rosa anything. I just need to mention that. Anyways, what are your opinions and critiques to Rosa Maria as a character? I would love to hear it in the comments down below. Anyways, thank you all so much for the support. It is insane to see the growth on this channel, and just thank you again. And also, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope to see you again on the channel. Goodbye, everybody. See you next time.